All right, today we're going to crack a code. You know those three things that always seem to pop up: fractions, decimals, and percentages? Well, what if I told you they're not different things at all? They're actually just three ways of saying the exact same thing. Let's get into it. So, let me ask you something. Picture this: a slice of pizza from a whole pie. Or glance at the battery level on your phone. And think about that awesome 50% off sign you see at a store. They seem totally different, right? But what's the one single idea that connects all of them?
Well, the answer is actually super simple. They're all about parts of a whole. Yep, that's it. Each one is just describing a piece of something bigger. And you know what? That one simple idea is the key that unlocks this whole thing.
Okay, so here's the best way to think about this. Imagine you have one single idea, but you can say it in three different languages. That's our number trio: fractions, decimals, and percentages. They're all telling the exact same story. They just use different words to do it.
First up, we've got the classic language, fractions. Think of this as the old school, traditional way to be really, really precise. You've got the numerator on top, that's how many parts you have, and the denominator on the bottom, which is how many parts make up the entire thing. So 1/2, it literally just means you have one part out of two total parts. Simple.
Next, we have the modern language, decimals. And this one is everywhere in our digital world, right? On your calculator, in spreadsheets, on price tags. It just uses that little decimal point to show a part of a whole, like 0.5. It's super clean, super computer friendly. And finally, there's the everyday language, percentages. This is the one we probably use the most when we're just talking. Why? Because it makes everything so easy to compare, since it's always out of 100. You know, you get a 90% on a test, you leave a 20% tip. It's just how we naturally talk about these things.
And boom, this right here shows you everything you need to know. Just look at this chart. That shaded part is exactly half the circle, right? We can call it 1/2. We can call it 0.5, or we can call it 50%. Three different names, three different languages, but they're all pointing to the exact same amount. That's the big idea.
Okay, so if they're all just different languages for the same idea, how do we translate between them, right? Let's crack the conversion code. This is where it gets really practical, something you can actually use. All right, going from a fraction to a decimal is way easier than you think. You want to know the secret? That little line in the middle of a fraction, it just means divide. Seriously. So to turn any fraction into a decimal, all you do is divide the top number by the bottom number. That's the whole trick.
Okay, what about going from a decimal to a percentage? Believe it or not, this one's even easier. It's just a little two-step move. You take that decimal point and you just slide it two places to the right. 1, 2. Then you just add a percent sign. So 0.75 becomes 75%. Easy peasy.
And here we go. This is basically your ultimate cheat sheet. You might want to screenshot this one. It puts all the common ones right next to each other. So you can see plain as day, 1/4 is 0.25, which is 25%. 3/4 is 0.75, which is 75%. It's the perfect way to see how they all line up.
All right, so we know how to translate between them now, but why does this even matter? Like, who cares? Well, here's why. Once you get fluent in these number languages, you'll start seeing them absolutely everywhere. For real. Like when you're shopping, you see a sign for 20% off. Now you know, hey, that's just 1/5 of the price knocked off. Or you're watching a game and a player's batting average is .300. That's just a decimal, right? It means they get a hit 30% of the time. Or you're baking something and the recipe says you need 3/4 of a cup of flour. Hey, if you're using a digital scale, that might just show up as 0.75. I mean, seriously, think about it. You see them in news reports, in financial data, in the specs for your new phone or computer, in health stats. And yeah, that battery icon you're always checking. Understanding these numbers really does mean understanding your world just a little bit better. So, look, if you remember just one thing, let it be this. These aren't three different, scary math subjects. They're just three ways of telling the exact same story. Once you really get that they're all one idea, the world of numbers just opens up. You're not just looking at digits on a screen anymore. You're actually reading the story behind them. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you can read the code, what are you going to discover?